Normally we do the ha-ha and the he, and hey, it's 82 degrees here in Orlando. We don't have time for that shit today, Terry. Let's get right into it. How are you?
He. I just saw another deflected pass in my dreams, man.
A little duck hunt
It was
last night.
Right.
And look, you guys can jump into the Woodward Sports chat, get your thoughts out there. If you want to skip the line, use the super chat, but jump in there. And I know that everyone's got a lot to say, and we'll be getting into all of it as we roll. But I guess here's how I want to tackle this. Spenny, you were on the front lines yesterday.
Yeah.
How was your mental wellness today?
It's not great. That was a rough game. It was a rough performance by Jared Goff, by the offensive line. Receivers were dropping balls. Dan Campbell going for it on fourth down too many times. Defense looked amazing, but the offense, it was a complete and utter collapse.
Which is stunning. But I made a definitive about face based on that game, based on the Minnesota game, based on the Green Bay game.
I've heard.
The Lions are no longer Super Bowl contenders. Not because of the 6-4 record. Not because they lost last night. But there's a pattern this season. They will mollywop mediocre to good teams. But if a team has a good defensive front, they can't do anything with it. This great offense we talk about turns into mush shit. So it's impossible for the Lions to make a run through the entire NFC North and not meet with a team that's got a good defensive front. I think that's their Achilles heel because the defensive line is compromised. They're supposed to be the backbone of this team. I don't think that's the case anymore. But I think for this year, I'm removing them from Super Bowl contenders from my list.
All right, can we establish some baselines with that though, Terry? Because I'm seeing in the chat right now that the people are going into it. Freddie Felt, our guy, the next 2 hours should be electric. LOL. Freddie, I think I have a little more measured approach than most today, which obviously we'll get to it. VWin90 in the chat says, until you win something, you can't say on their level. So VWin, let's start right there then, because that kind of backs up to what Terry was just talking about. What are your thoughts on the Bills and Josh Allen? What are your thoughts on and I know that the fantasy owners were pounding underneath the table yesterday with Josh Allen. Terry, that's where I'm going to get off the highway. All right? It's it's the thing for me, Terry. If you want to take that approach, then who can we talk about in this league besides the Chiefs and besides the Eagles? For real, like who can we talk about then? Because that is I'm not accepting that. Until you win something, you can't be viewed as on their level. Then keep that same energy about Buffalo and Josh Allen. Keep that same energy
I tell
about
you what,
Baltimore
we do have that
and Lamar.
energy with Josh Allen and Buffalo. I don't have to say anything about them. I'm just going to make one gesture about the Buffalo Bills.
Ooh.
Okay? That's all. So
they're not on the level either. But
no, they're not.
It's funny because Terry. It's funny because KG and I always talk about the checklist. People have a checklist, and once there's about 4 or 5 steps on that checklist. Once they cross one, then they go, yeah, well, you can't win with Jared Goff. Then you win games with Jared Goff. Then it's, yeah, well, you can't win a division with Jared Goff. Then he wins a division. Then it's, yeah, well, you can't win a playoff game with Jared Goff. And then he wins 2 of them in 7 days. And then they say, yeah, well, you can't get to a Super Bowl. And that's the number on the checklist that they're at right now. Like,
well,
look, am I going to sit here and tell you?
You can
yes.
get to a Super Bowl with Jared Goff, not this year. That's all I'm saying.
Dexter James in the super chat. Last night's loss made all of our next division games more important. We need to lock in going forward. Spenny, so again, I'm leaning on you since you were on the front lines. Where are the people at? And KG, I guess the morning show as well. Where are the people at? Because I'm seeing a lot of chatter. Like there's some clown shit that we got to get to that I think we will coming up in about 8 minutes.
Yeah.
I want to know what the dumbest thing you saw or that you saw. I'm going to do that at 11:14 because like look, Terry, I'm not ready I'm not ready to go there with you yet, Terry.
I tell you what, whatever they say, I heard something was going to beat no matter what these guys say. Go ahead.
Okay.
It's the dumbest thing you heard.
I can't wait.
Because I heard something totally ridiculous.
No, I'm going to get there in 8 minutes when we come back from the break. But Dexter, I guess my question to you, Spenny and KG, is what are people's take on the division? Because I heard about how it's all over now, and even our own network, our social team. And look, I get the job that they have to do, and they put out a tweet that says, as of today, the Lions are out of the playoffs, as if like they need like 4 things to have. They still control everything. Like, Terry, that's my main point. Like, I'm not going to jump out of this second floor window here in Orlando. I'm not going to do it because they still control everything in front of them. They got 4 of the next 5 at home. And when we sat here in August and did these shows and said, hey, this stretch of the schedule is going to be pretty difficult, you got to get to that backside where you can rack up some wins and get things rolling. Terry, what's different about that? For you to say they're not Super Bowl contenders, based on what, Terry?
Based on this, at some point you're going to have to face a team with a good defensive front. Every team they face with a good defensive front that can put pressure on Jared Goff, they lost to, and their offense wasn't there. The one thing that we could always go back on with the Lions is they're going to score their 30 points. They might give up 35, but we know the offense is going to be humming. These teams have shut this machine down. That's frightening to me. And you're not going to – are you going to go back to Philadelphia and win in January? I don't think so. Minnesota is not a good team, but that defensive front sure did play a hell of a game, and they put the Lions' offense in a cocoon. Or actually, they tied them behind the back, and they couldn't do anything. And I know one. And then
Terry,
but it's happened with Kansas City. It's happened with Minnesota. It's happened with Green Bay. Now it's happened with Philadelphia. I still think the Lions are a good team. They're one of the best in the NFC, but they're not Super Bowl contenders.
Terry, I would take you back then and like, look, I guess it's not equivalent to what the people in the chat want to say, because they'll say, until you've done it, you can't say that you're in that company. Terry, are the Denver Broncos a good defensive front?
Yeah, but you don't have to worry about them. They look
right,
good
but here's my
yesterday.
point, though, Terry. And when Denver came into Philadelphia, guess what they did? They pushed the Eagles around and they won the football game. Like that's how it happened. Like, again, but people will say, well, Bo Nix, you can't win a division with Bo Nix. You can't win playoff games with Bo Nix. Like, they're on the checklist too. The point of all this, Terry, is this: if we're going to talk about Super Bowl or bust, if we're going to talk about, I think the Lions are a good organization, as you said, one of the best organizations in the NFC, right? That's what you said.
I said it. I don't want to stand by it.
Okay, so my point of all of that is this, Terry: where if we want to talk Super Bowl or bust, if we want to talk about only the playoffs matter, then you don't get to pick and choose that. Everybody piles in last week when they beat the Commanders and be like, oh, here, we're back to good, and Dan's calling the plays, and now we're back to good. Then they lose a game at Philadelphia, and now it's over. Goff can't play. Dan Campbell can't call plays for an offense, and they're bad. Like, Terry, I don't roll like that. I don't, because as the season rolls on, there are games you are going to lose. And now, will I sit here and say that everything is over, or will I sit here and say that they looked good last night? No, I won't say they looked good last night. That was Goff's worst game. And I sent out a tweet yesterday during the game, and it was at the very beginning. You could see how this thing was going. Terry, that was big boy football. Line of scrimmage, point of attack, big boy football. And yeah, the Eagles got the better of the Lions yesterday. 100% they did. And that front four, they were on brand, man. And they got their arms up in the air, and they deflected passes, and they made life miserable. And they got better as the game went on. That was a thing to me where, they came out and it was almost like it was almost like teams were just kind of running into each other in the first half of the game. But then towards the end of that second quarter and into the second half, the Eagles put it in another gear. And they showed why they're a Super Bowl defending champion. And they've been to another Super Bowl.
Right.
And it wasn't
But here's something else
go ahead.
that scared me, and I've never seen this before. They locked down St. Brown because I'm watching the game. It says, why don't they get the ball to Amon-Ra St. Brown? And as I looked at it, I said, oh, because they can't. He was being covered. Jared Goff was being harassed. If he did see a good play, it was deflected by one of their 6'9", 400-pound defensive tackles. I mean, it was ridiculous. It wasn't the fact that they lost, but it was that things that you thought were Lions' strengths were shut down and completely snuffed out. That's the scary thing. This reminded me of the Green Bay game. But they recovered, and they'll recover from this. They'll win the next 3 games at least. They'll be 9-4, and then I'm going to be on the little show here, and people say, oh, gee, you said the Lions are not Super Bowl contenders. And I'll contend then at 9-4 that they're not. But they'll play some mediocre teams. They'll kick the shit out of them, and they'll flex and say, we back. What you going to do about it? And we may not see the end again until, I don't know, the Rams in the playoffs or the Eagles in the playoffs. Somebody in the playoffs is this going to get them? They're going to mutilate them? Because there are teams that can shut down this powerful offense, and that's scary.
Okay, so all right, we've run up to the break here, and I want to take the break, but Spenny, I want to do the chat poll because I'm seeing it. JRG in the chat, you got a quarterback that can't move and a GM that did nothing to help the quarterback that can't move. Okay, chat, let's chat.
Are you in or are you out?
Right now, today. No, that's not even it. Right here, right now. Who would you rather have at quarterback then? JJ McCarthy or Jared Goff? Let's just go full stupid, everybody.
Stop,
all right,
Neil.
let's just go full stupid.
Right, baby boy, you asked, what's the most ridiculous thing you've heard? I'll tell you what.
Yeah.
Top this. None of you can top this.
I don't know.
Here's what I heard: that Jared Goff should be replaced by Underwood at Michigan.
Oh, wow.
Oh, okay. Terry, I'm going to break. I'm going to
Right.
break.
Top that.
Neil,
Top that.
Neil about to stroke out. Look at him.
Top it.
I'm
Top
going
it.
to break.